This building served as a Methodist church until the appointment of F.E. Steinmeier in 1913. Reverend H.T. Gaines had previously urged the women of the Missionary Society to arouse interest in a new building due to the overcrowding of the present one. The last service was held in the white wooden church on Easter Sunday, 1914. The old building was torn down and services were held in the Star Movie Theater while the new sanctuary was being erected. The church's Masonic cornerstone was the 99th cornerstone laid by the Grand Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons of Florida. While the cornerstone ceremonies are normally presided over by the Grand Master, Lodge records show that on July 29, 1914, the Grand Master issued a dispensation to Sanford Lodge 62 to lay the cornerstone on his behalf. The dispensation directs that the ceremony be held on August 10, 1914, but it was actually held a day later on August the 11th. Church member Stephen Olin Shinholzer was the general contractor of the project. It is an Akron plan style of structure. Shinholzer's construction plan utilized Green's Greatest Efficiency Plan, which advocates sustainable energy sources, the conservation of energy, and the siting of a building. The Akron Plan was a scheme for the design of churches and other religious buildings that house Sunday schools. The centerpiece of the Akron Plan is its interior, featuring half-circle or quarter-circle worship space. The floor is sloped down to the pulpit area, and radiating aisles run through the concentric rings of curved benches. Doors or movable partitions could be closed to separate classes, or open to allow the entire body to participate. Akron Plan churches feature a rather small chancel area where the pulpit and communion table were located. The plan later fell out of favor when the Sunday schools changed their approach. The awkwardly shaped rooms were poorly adapted for this new approach, and many of them underwent extensive remodeling. Bishop W.A. Ainsworth dedicated the new building. The first worship service was held October 24, 1915, and it remains today as one of the few churches of this style. According to the notation on the back of this photo owned by Blake Sawyers, in January 1921, Billy Sunday, the evangelist, preached in the church. Early in 1923, the Charge Conference notes state that the church was in agreement that a wooden annex must be built to house Sunday school classes. Reports from November 1924 state that property was purchased adjacent to the church for a parsonage. A parsonage was never built there, and it is believed the annex, located where the altar, guild, and castle classrooms were later housed, was built instead. The continued growth of the church is evidenced by the membership in the women's group and the Sunday school classes. The organization of the Women's Missionary Society dates back to the formation in 1878 of the Foreign Missionary Society and the Home Missionary Society, founded in 1906. In 1911, Mrs. H.E. Perry, president of the Foreign Missionary Society, and Mrs. J.K. Medinger, president of the Home Missionary Society, called a joint meeting for the purpose of uniting the two groups. Miss Lula Tucker acted as chairman of the meeting. Mrs. H.A. Chappell was elected president of the Combined Missionary Society. The United Methodist Women have become a very meaningful part of the church conference and have entered not only into the mission field, but every facet of church life. Class number 1, listed below, is probably the forerunner of the men's Bible class. It was, as the name states, a class to study the Scriptures. It had a variety of teachers over the years and was still active in the mid-1980s, with Orville Touchton as the final teacher. In 1929, the Wesley Bible Class Federation of the Florida Conference convened in April for a 3-day session. Bishop Hoyt M. Dobbs, presiding officer of the Florida Conference, called a session with his cabinet to meet simultaneously with the Federation to lend their support to this phase of Methodism. The Daughters of Wesley Sunday School class of the First Methodist Church of Sanford was chartered at this time by the Federation. The Truth Seekers Sunday School class may date back to the Truth Gleaners class, but if not, we do have this photo circa 1905, thanks to David Kirchhoff, grandson of Octavia Chapman Rumbley. The stained glass window donated by this class of ladies is located in the rear of the sanctuary. It features an anchor cross, an open Bible, and the words hope and faith. We have this hope, a sure and steadfast anchor of the soul, Hebrews 6:19. looking to Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the sake of the joy set before him endured the cross, disregarding its shame, and has taken his seat at the right hand of the throne of God. Hebrews 12:2.